Hi, my name is Jim Bala. I'm the SnowDogg Tech at Buyers Products. Today's video, we're going to be doing the installation of a straight blade plow. Today we have our MD plow, but we also have in our series of plows as our HD and EX plows. Very similar instructions, very similar installation. So we have our MD75, and then we also have our lift frame assembly, which is part number 1601-5004. And then we have our LED lights, which is part number 1616-0800. So now, let's look at the tools we need for the job. The tools you're going to need for the job will be our channel locks, a pair of vice grips. We have an impact DeWalt gun. We also have two converters for the gun, which is 3/8 and 1/2 inch. We have a drift pin. We also have some anti-seize because we have some stainless on stainless threading, so we want to put some anti-seize on there. We also have a few sockets here, 15/16, 3/4, which are deep, and then we have 9/16, 1/2 inch, and 12 millimeter. We also have in our wrenches our 15/16, 9/16, and 1/2 inch. We also have a hex socket, which is 7/32, and that'll be for the snow deflector. A couple ties, got some wire cutters, wonderful grease gun, and then we have our torque wrench for later on when we got to torque everything down at the end, and then of course, got some rags. Now you know what tools we need for the job. Let's go ahead and get the mold board off the skid, and let's see what's in the lift frame assembly box. Again, this is our MD lift frame assembly box. So what we have, of course, is your owner's manual. And then we have a box that has your springs and your controller in and your pins, a couple screws, some hardware kit. And what we also have is our harness box. This has the harnesses that on the truck side. This is a 16-16-0052. It's a truck side wiring kit. And then on the other side of the box, move a few things, will be our light tower. And this is all wrapped up in cardboard very nicely. Like I said, we'll see the inside of this contents, or we'll see the inside of this container when we get the stuff apart. So let's go ahead and get this stuff together. Now that I got the cardboard off the lift frame assembly and I got the mold board off the skid, what we're going to do now is a little trick for you guys. Is what we're going to do is we're going to take half the washers, so 10 washers, and what we're going to do is put them on top on both sides. So we remove the shoe. I'm going to count 10 washers. Oh, only 9. Now 10. We're going to put the shoe back on. Put the washers on top. Put the linch pin on, and then we're going to do it to the other side. Another little trick is on the lift frame assembly is you want to get the clevis here, or sector, forward past the skid. And then what we'll do, we'll use the lift jack to raise it up so we can fit it into the mold board. So what I'm going to do right now is just bring the lift frame forward on the skid. So it's forward a little bit, and now I'm going to take the mold board and I'm just going to bring it back. Like I said, I moved those washers so it should sit up straight for us. So now we're ready to attach the lift frame to the mold board. You can see I took the pallet jack, raised it up. Now we're kind of lining everything up. So we got our sector going into our pivot. We're putting our pivot pin in here now. So what we do is just kind of wiggle it around and get the pin in. Then you do is take the washer, get it on there, and then I'll put a cotter pin down in there, and then make sure you take the cotter pin and wrap it around with a vice grip and a channel lock. So then the other side, like I said, I started this one just to get it in. Put that in, and then we're gonna put a washer and the cotter pin in this side. So let's get on to getting it off the skid and getting that light tower on. What we wanna do is we wanna take the skid and get it away from the lift frame and get that jack down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lift up the lift frame assembly, slide the pallet jack back, then I'm gonna pull the lever right here to drop the jack down, center foot pedal. So I know, say good luck to me because it's a little rough, but we're gonna do it. So what I'm gonna do is just lift up, push it back a little bit. I'm gonna drop the jack and then pull it away a little bit more. So now we have it down. So now let's get the springs on. So our next step is for our springs to be put on. So on the MD Plow, we have 2 springs. One goes on one side, one goes on the other. So what you do is just hook it, place it on there. What you want to do, hook the other side, let it rest on the moldboard. Then I'm going to go into the package, but it has our eye bolts. These are stainless. And in this package we have some lock washers and some nuts. So what we want to do, what I'm going to do first is just take a little anti-seize and get it on the threads. There's this thing called galling, and this is with stainless nuts or stainless threads. And what happens, it'll seize up if you don't have anti-seize on them. So it should be about enough. So what I'll do is I'll start a nut on the threaded part of the eye bolt. Come on. You're going to go about halfway down because we really don't know how far we're going to go. So what I do is then hook it on the spring. Then what I'm going to do is take the moldboard and just dip it down a little bit and then start it. Start it in the hole. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, because if we tighten this side up without this eye bolt in, we got to take it apart. We got to do both at the same time. So what I'm going to do now is just coat this with anti-seize. I'm going to quickly get a nut on it and just make sure the other side's started in the hole. So same thing on the spring, bring it down a little bit, and push the moldboard back up. Then I'm going to take the lock washer and the other nut, get it started. Same thing on the other side. You want to do that, I got my impact with my 15/16 socket, and then I'm going to use a 15/16 wrench, and what I want to do is when I'm tightening it up, I'm going to try not to let the spring turn. I want to keep that spring kind of straight, so I'm kind of like angling a little bit. And what you want to do is you want to make the spring tensioned so you can get a business card in there. Just so happens to be my card. So what we want to do is make sure it fits in the middle of the spring. So right now it's not. It looks like we have a little bit more tension to go. So I'm going to crank it down a little bit more. Let's see if we lucked out this time. Yep, see my card's fitting in there with a little friction, so that's really good. We're going to leave it at that. We're going to do the other side. We try to kind of get it almost the same. And then what we're going to do is tighten it up by just tightening this lower nut. And then to top it all off, have like a little rubber topper to protect those threads. Now we'll just do the same thing on the other side. And now the next step is we're gonna put that light tower on. All right, so our next step now is to put the light tower on. What we have is, just sit right on top of the lift frame. So we have our 3/8 bolt with our stainless steel washer. So you want to start it in the back. And then you let it go for a second. And we're going to have 3 more of the same bolt. Again, you want to start them all four of them, and then we're going to tighten them up. And then we'll use 9/16 socket to tighten them up. So there's 2 on front. Yeah, make sure they're all started. Right impact. Make sure it's going the right way. Tighten the front first. Then we'll come here on this back side. Get it all tight. As you see, that's how it is. It's good. Next thing we want to do is we're going to take the cord for the lights, and we're going to run it up the lift frame through this hole here, so it comes out to this where the headlight's going to be, where the plow light's going to be. So sometimes they get stuck inside of the unit. So if it's not long enough, it looks like this one's going to be long enough. You might have to go inside and just maybe uncatch it on something. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull it over here. And then we have 2 holes on the inside of the light tower. And that's where we're going to put our black ties on, or the ties they give you in the bag. So what I'm going to do is just kind of start it. Just get it around the wire. We'll start both of them. Inside, you'll do the same thing on the other side. Again, you want to make sure you have sufficient wire, because you got to make this 90-degree bend here. So you make sure you have enough wire that's coming up there. I'll try to get a little bit more. It looks like that should be good. So I'm just going to tighten them down. We'll just cut off the excess. And there that is. So the next step, we're going to put our deflectors on and our plow markers, and then we'll put our lights on last, and then we should be done then. All right, so now it's plow marker time. So of course, they come in a bag, they come in a pair. So bust open the bag. Like really bust open the bag and get the bolts out. Like I said, what we have here is just a bolt and a nut and a nylock washer. I'm sorry, not a washer, a nut. So I get them out of the bag. So what we'll do is you want them like so they're kicking outside. You see it straight, and then it kind of kicks outside. So you want to put this on the outside rib. Again, let's start both of them. Okay, and then what's kind of funny about this is the outside bolt is 12 millimeter, and the inside nut is 1/2 inch. What I'm going to do is just tighten them up. And that's it. Again, do the same thing on the other side. Very simple. And the next step is we have these little brackets here. They're actually stacking brackets, so when we stack the plows during shipment. So what you want to do is you want to take these off. Now these are just 1/2 inch nut and bolt. So what you want to do is just take these off and discard them. You try to go the right way though. And there it goes. So, like I said, you want to do the same thing on the other side. Now, let's put the snow deflector on. All right, so now I got my socket with my Allen wrench, 7/32 and a 9/16 wrench. So we're going to be putting on the snow deflector, and your plow should come with all the center bolts loose. Because on the snow deflector, which I'll show you in a second, all the center, they have all center slots. Only the two outside ones actually holes. So what we're going to do is just take the outside bolts out. So we'll just take off this one outside one. Okay, oh, lost the washer. We'll pick it up in a second. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the bolt out. We'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, this time I didn't drop the washer. So how we start it from the end. I'm gonna try to get that bolt back in here. Okay. So the main thing is get this thing started first. I said there should be some anti-seize on it from the factory. As you can tell, my hands are full of anti-seize. So then we just take it and we should be able to kind of wiggle it all the way down. Well, this one here isn't loose enough, so we're gonna have to loosen up a little bit. All right, same thing with this one. It should be almost all the way at the end of the thread. So this gives us room to get the deflector between the strap and the stainless moldboard. Like I said, there we go. Okay, now it's in. We're gonna take this other bolt on the end, place it in. All right, so they're all started. And what I usually do is just use my knee, kick it up a little bit, and go right down the line and tighten them all up. Like I said, I'm keep pushing it up with my knee just to keep it going. All right, deflector's on, marker's on, we got the stacking brackets off. Now let's put the LED lights on. So here we go with our last step, which is our LED lights. Now they are marked. So on the back of the light says left lamp, so we're gonna put it on the driver's side. And what we have there is a nut, flat washer, and a lock washer. And then you have these like hubs. So the hubs will go on first. So what I'm gonna do is there's two holes, I'm gonna put it. The connector should go in the center. And they're on, so they said it should be flat washer, lock washer, and nut. I'm gonna get one side started. Do the same thing with the flat washer, lock washer, and nut. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna snug them up. And what you do later is you'll go to a wall and you'll make sure that they're in line. You know, after you put it on the truck, you'll make sure they're in line and the proper height that you want it to be. So I'm gonna take my 3/4 socket and just snug them up. Make sure they're kind of close. And then, like I said, we'll do the other side. Okay, do the other side, and then what we're going to do is we want to attach the connector. Just gotta make sure you have enough. And then you gotta bend it and then connect it right up here. Again, I didn't put dielectric grease on it, but put dielectric grease on it before you make sure the connection. So go from there, and that's pretty much it. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is put the other side on, other light on, take the protective cover off, and then we're gonna show you the finished product. Well, it's final product time, but nothing's ever final till we grease everything up. So on the MD plow, and like I said, most of our other plows, we have a bunch of grease points with grease fittings, so make sure you get some good grease into each one of the fittings or any pivot point. Also, any connection, dielectric grease. Thanks for watching this video of how to install a straight blade plow. Make sure you check out YouTube, subscribe, like, and happy plowing.